Carol. Carol.
Over here.
Yeah, but I mean, I wrote that. I didn't see that.
Over here.
That's for Patronage.
Light. Yeah. But, the one, the next one.
Did you need that for a specific reason, Carol, or?
Yes, thank you. Morning, Rosemary. How are you?
On the tables.
I like that.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Is anybody recording? Val is? Okay, I respect, let's have a moment of silence and say the pledge of allegiance. Hats off too. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing we have is approval of minutes to the board workshop on 11/2/21. A motion to approve the minutes. It's written. Any, all in favor, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. Okay, this thing's, and we got no correspondence, but we do have, so who's gonna read the letter?
The general manager should go over the report.
Okay, all right, of course, I didn't write anything for the report, of course, I can still do that. Let's see, just so y'all aware, I think the roof's done right, is that correct?
Be inspected next Monday.
Okay, next Monday, okay. Also be aware of what's coming up later. Probably need to form an ad hoc committee to do some research on another vehicle for code enforcement. Also, let y'all know that when we talked late last year about, the signage for the roads getting certified by the county, county's not going to do that. We have to pay for an engineer to come in and certify the signs, because according to the letter from the county, they don't have the manpower to do it. That came across, what was it, the first last week? Yeah, that came across last week. That's something you gotta think about down the road if you still wanna do something with, as far as the county and your sheriffs, the patrol and stuff. You have to think about the possibility of getting somebody to do a certification, a private company. Also, the computer system still needs to be updated. We changed out new computers, and we knew that it was not going to fix the problem. We still have problems with access, so we have to probably get a program for that. Be thinking about that. It's coming up. Also, be coming up to where the gate is going to be a proposal to fix the gate with new sensors and things like that. It's gonna be put before you, or put before the board. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see, they're still working on some of the streets involving flooding problem, like Fiat down there. They're putting new pipe in between Fiat and the next street, which is this way. I don't know what it is, Mission or whatever name it is. They're doing that. Also, I think that's about it for what's going on. I'm glad hope everybody had a nice holiday and all. And everything, you know, everybody's got bundled up coats this morning. I feel like I'm almost naked up here because I don't have no coat on or nothing. But I look around the place and see it. But that's all I have. Carol, you want to do it with your report?
All right, I got a couple things. I have a letter here from Deborah Burns, who's chairman of the DCPO Social Committee. She writes, Dear Board of Directors, the Social Committee would like to have a poker run on Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 2:00 p.m. The cost will be $5 per hand. You may purchase multiple hands. The poker game will be 7-card stud and prizes will be given out. Golf carts, motorcycles, and bikes are welcome. No vehicles, please, and food and drinks will be determined at a later date. Because this did not make the agenda, I will put it in the read file. The only other thing I have is real quick. We had a couple complaints, not a lot. The mass email is not working again. So what happens is we get turned in, somebody or several people is turning us in and reporting us as spam. And when that happens, let's say it's Google, they add it to a spam protection. And if it continues, they stop us from sending anything out. So we are in the process this week. It should be installed. We've had to get a company that can protect us from that happening. And we don't know who's doing it or why, but just so everybody knows, this week, everything should be working again. So I apologize if there's any inconvenience for anyone.
Okay, we have no unfinished business, no new business. Now report from the directors, committee reports. Val, you got anything?
No.
Rich, you got anything?
No, sir.
Larry, you got anything?
Yes. When the finance committee was doing our budget, we came up with 2 other ideas on how we could make some money. And I'd just like the board to think about this, and I'd like it on the agenda for our next board meeting, which I believe is the 18th, 19th, long in there somewhere. 19th. The first thing we had talked about was raising the background checks from $75 to $100. And I don't have numbers in front of me to tell you how much that would have made in 2021, but I can get that for us for the next meeting. The other thing was, there's a contribution called a capital contribution. And I know this has to go before the membership to be voted in. If they voted down, they voted down. If they voted up, good. What that would be is to collect for the community $100 from everybody that actually buys a house in here, which would include a new home coming in, or if somebody is selling a house in here and then buying another house in here, the house they buy, they would pay that $100 capital contribution fee. But these are just two things that the community, or that the finance committee had thought of, we may be able to use to make some more money for us, so then your HOAs won't go up, possibly. Just something to think about. I'd like to see that go on the agenda for the next board meeting. And that's all I have.
Okay, Rosemary?
I'd just like to thank everybody that participated in the Reads Across America. It was a beautiful thing. I know we started on a Saturday and we never got there because the traffic was backed up almost 2.5 hours to try to get into the cemetery. My husband and I went on Wednesday, that following Wednesday, and it is unbelievably beautiful to see all the wreaths on all the headstones. It was just very moving. So I thank everybody that participated.
Okay, Gail?
Just have beautification. Beautification spent about $700 to replace lights and decorations for the front of the, from the road to the guard shack. And we really are looking for donations to help us to sponsor that. And if you look at our donations, there's about $3,000 in there. Not all of us have turned in our receipts, but $2,000 of that is dedicated to a portion of the, when you first come in at the corner of Central and the T and Brookridge Boulevard, we're gonna spend about $2,000 to make that, as the committee likes to say, a show place. So when people come in, they will see a really beautiful display for Brookridge. So we've only got about $1,000 left, and there's probably going to be about $500 left once we turn in all our slips. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Bingo meeting is next week or the week after, so I have nothing for them.
Okay, but we have the RV compound walkthrough and committee, what is it, 14th, right? 12, okay.
At 10 a.m.
Okay, at 10 a.m. And also, the ACC committee needs members, volunteers and resumes. Also, we need volunteers and resumes for the Rules and Regulations Committee. Somebody asked me about that. We've only had one so far put in for that. So that's out there. Let's see, I have nothing else there. Let's see, next we have the member comments. We'll start up here. Oh, she's got something, Carol's got something.
I just want to mention real quick, this RV meeting, it's an annual meeting, it's the 12th, and it's for anyone who has a site up at the RV compound. So we can review things with you, catch you up on any rules and regulations. Maybe there's a problem you need to discuss. So it's important if you have a site at the RV compound that you attend. I also forgot to mention that the BCO Social Committee is looking for volunteers. In order to hold these events throughout the year, they need more than 3 people. Thank you.
Okay, next is member comments. I'll start up here. Anybody got a comment on the,
Yes.
What time is that meeting, Carol? It's up in the South
Sorry.
Hall, right? It's in the South Hall,
At
right?
the,
I don't know where it is, I'm not going. 10 o'clock? Means at 10.
It's 10 o'clock here.
The 10 o'clock, the meeting on the 12th, yeah.
Okay.
okay, I'll start with Rosemary.
okay. At one of the prior meetings, I read a code of ethics. And what my purpose was to make the membership aware that we do have a code of ethics that the board is supposed to follow. And it has been in place since 2005. So, and I think many of the board members and prior board members were not aware that it was in our book. At that time, Secretary Stratton posed some questions, so I'd like to take a few minutes to answer those questions. The first one is, rather than putting it to an expensive vote to the members to be included in the bylaws, why don't we beef up the oath? This would not be a vote to the members. This was not intended to be included in the bylaws. It would be a guideline, perhaps an SOP. Adding it to the oath is a very good suggestion. Most directors seem not to understand the oath they agree to or don't care. Florida statute has a law that the board certify in writing within 90 days to the association secretary that they will work to oppose such documents and policies. So we don't even abide by state law. Val, you keep stating that we don't abide by state law. Even if it were true, why would you argue against a code of ethics for the board of directors to adhere to for the sake of the membership? And the bylaws state Article 5.
Excuse me, were you speaking to me? I will address your comment. I'm not arguing against a code of ethics. You were the one, when you presented it last month, said it was going to be a bylaw. So
I never did say that, Gail. Val, I never did say it was going to be a bylaw. I just read the code of ethics.
Well, adopt the code of ethics into the governing documents. Wouldn't that be a bylaw? Anyway, so, and go on.
If you allow me to continue. What does move within the scope of their authority mean? And you can refer to the bylaws, Article 5, Section 10. Also endeavor to serve the association's best interests, so why aren't we following the bylaws or changing them? Article 7, Section 6, Secretary maintains and files all BCPO matters pertaining to board legal matters, preparation and mailing of the ballots. The Board of Directors is voted to serve the association's best interests. Bylaws are amended by membership vote because times change and our bylaws and deed restrictions must serve the community at all times. This is why state statutes are also amended. This is Bylaws Article 5, Section 5, and Section 10. Carry out their responsibilities with impartiality. Would this mean you do not leave certain board members in the dark? This refers to decisions made by the Board of Directors, cannot personally benefit a director, and must benefit the majority of the membership. If a director has a problem with another director, he or she should put it in writing to all directors. If it cannot be resolved, then it should come to the next board meeting. Always support the decisions made by a board. Most decisions are being made behind closed doors at the moment. How would one know? This pertains to decisions made at board meetings. For example, 2022 proposed budget voted at a meeting, then 2 or 3 board members told people at a BCPO function to vote it down. The board does not micromanage as far as the truck was concerned. We give the parameters for the funds and let the management make the purchase decision. Ballot box and time clocks. Purchase policy 8.63.1 allows president to authorize the purchase up to $5,000 from the operating budget. Purchase policy 8.622 states GM about $2,000 will be reported to the BOD monthly. By eliminating CEO from the bylaws, the president should no longer make decisions on his own. I have not reported these purchases to the board because I was not aware of them until after the fact. Hold open and honest fair elections described. What would the repercussions be? Sending out lies, including false statements at town meetings. At this point, you can review SOP 3.4 states the description procedures for elections. I would think repercussions would be discussed with our legal department, which could lead to discussions with the state. Town hall meetings are under President Foster's purview. If there are false statements, the board of directors should be informed either by email or letter, and the director making the allegation should speak to the president first. Any alleged statement would need to be investigated, and then the board can decide what action, if any, should be taken. What other regulatory requirements? We should all be aware of regulatory requirements. They are found in state statutes, rules and regulations, bylaws, and deed restrictions. Before a director acts, he or she should check any of the above to make sure the action is legal. This means to read the material before and after the specific verbiage. The next question is, share to any third party info, even the next board. If even the next board in any of our, is even the next board in any of our documents? I haven't found it. Reveal personal information. Would this be, they were in the hospital, he died, they were on vacation this week. This refers to anything in the UBL file, including name, address, background checks, violations, liens, legal issues. This is board resident information only. What you are referring to is friendly, personal things. Misrepresent or conceal facts to whom? Like to another board member because they don't want them in the loop. The board of directors have a fiduciary responsibility to report accurate facts and reports to the membership. Again, what would the ramifications be? Right now, we have board members that do not even adhere to the oath of office. The director would meet with the president and one other director to discuss the issue or concern. If the allegation is untrue, the president can email all directors to that fact. If the allegation is true, the full board would be informed by email or memo. If the guilty party will not adhere, the president will need to inform the membership at the next board meeting. There were a lot of innuendos in the letter, Val. You must take the above steps to clear up these allegations. The board must be informed by email or letter. At the time, the allegation will be investigated. If the allegation is true, the president will send an email or letter to the director. If it is not resolved, the president will inform the membership at the next meeting. The board of directors is subject to bylaws, Article 2, Section 1 and D, which states, promote the goodwill and common cause to achieve and maintain a stable, congenial place to live. This is accomplished only by putting away personal feelings and agendas, and by truly making all decisions based on the good of the majority of the membership. It would be awesome to have 100% agreement in the community, but we're all human. We all have different opinions, but once there is a vote at a board meeting, all directors must support the vote. And if you refer the laws of Florida Homeowners Association, which is this book here, page 23, section 2.11, board election by ballot, page 24, 2.11, decorum.
Perhaps I could get that book. I've asked for that. Could I get that book, Arlene?
Of course. Page 32, 3.6, judiciary relationship. Page 34, 3.8, meetings of the board. And page 45, 4.10, resignation and removal. In conclusion, the one question that was brought up is, what is the point of having, if there are no penalties for failing to comply or a disciplinary procedure? My answer to that is, the board of directors must be held to a higher standard. You people look up to us to make the right decisions for the community, and we need to be able to do that in the best interest of everyone.
Okay, final question, I guess. So if there's a situation where the president needs to be asked to meet with, if I've got this correct, a meeting with the president, one other board of director, where does that communication get sent?
Would be request.
Request, would you request?
Request by email or letter.
Request by email or letter.
And where would that be addressed to? Board of Directors at Brookridge.com, somebody, Gail Metcalf at her personal email, Carol, that's the question. Where would it go?
The protocol is, how protocol is usually is that you go to the president, and for the sake of both of you, it would be another person. It would be another board member, so there's not just two, but there's three. And if it can't be resolved, then, you know, or if there was a resolution, the president should address that person. And then if it's not resolved, then it has to be brought up at a board meeting.
But I'm not aware of where we send that. Jerry doesn't do emails, so where would I send this correspondence?
Jerry doesn't know.
Maybe I don't have his correct email, I don't know.
Why, excuse me, why can't it just come to the office?
So you want,
And
so
we'll
we,
just get it
as a board member, just drop it off at the office?
And then we stamp it in, date it, and then we give it to the appropriate person.
Okay, and is it, and then it's addressed to, the board or the board president?
So what I'm hearing, that it should be addressed to Jerry, if it has to go to Jerry, correct? And then you ask one other person to come in.
Okay, I just,
Yeah, and that's what it is, it becomes like an investigation.
Val, you can also mark it confidential if you'd like.
okay. Learn something new every day.
Here you go.
I would like to just make one more comment. When a new board is elected and sworn into office, with the oath of office, perhaps we could include the code of ethics.
Yeah.
To make sure that each board member is aware of the code of ethics and will abide by it.
It actually has been in our book, the director's book, that we get every year. And I was asked, how come you didn't know it was in there? To me, you follow me, everybody gets one, and if you look at if you read the book, it has it, it has it right in the beginning. Welcome, Board of Directors. There's quite a few things, and I know it's in everybody's thing. But code of ethics should be something that we just know, I mean, we're held to a higher standard. We should know these things. And our mission here is to take care of the community of Brookridge. And, you know, I've always said no personal agendas and things like that. You know, it has to be for the good of the majority, not for the good of one. So.
But we are also responsible for being the voice of the minority.
Exactly. But that's where it has to come to, it has to be presented in a way that everybody, you know, we need to have more people on board. We do, yes, we do take care of everyone. And I guess what our duty is, if we feel it's important enough, that we want to make sure that all of the residents are aware of it, and that's where the town hall meetings used to come. You know, we discuss it and bring all of the information to them.
Rosemary, thank you for
I tried.
addressing my.
I tried to address your questions.
Addressing my questions. I
So
was
there's
worried
been
that
clarification.
I
No,
didn't send it to the right emails.
the point is that it needed to be addressed, and, you know, you had valid questions in research. I would hope I was able to answer them for you.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Okay, Gil?
Yeah, I have just a couple of things, and most of them are, some of them have to do with okay, how's that? Sorry about that. I just want to review the president's report. You said the county can't do the signs to be certified. Unfortunately, that was already in the news and views in January. Is the advisory committee going to see what it's going to cost for certification and come to us with a cost?
I'm not went to them. It's not presented them yet. I just got the news last week, so
Okay,
it's not
so
been talked to yet.
okay, but that's where it will go, is to the,
Yeah.
and they'll, okay, good. Okay. Computer system, the access, we know that it's, you know, really bad. And I remember talking with our IT person, and, you know, we talked, because I had to bring over some information, and he said, that access is over 20 years old. He said, you have, you know, you're a $3 million business, but you also take care of 2,800 homes. People that have this access still are very small companies that can deal with it. But when you have so many people, and plus our visitors, we get over 1.5 million visitors every year, the access and the cloud just isn't working on it. So I believe that, just to reiterate what Jerry said, our first thing to do was to get the computers updated, because 2007 Microsoft is going by the wayside, and 2010 will be good for quite a few years. And having I'm glad to hear that they're going to look into the, you know, what the new systems are gonna call for. And that will come out of our reserve also for computers. The other thing, the gate proposal for the new proposal for the gate, is that to change out the outgoing, so it will be the same as the ingoing? Okay. Thank you. And I think that was it.
Okay, anybody else up here? Comment by anybody?
Mr. President, I do. I'd like to thank everybody that came out to the dance, New Year's Eve dance. It was fabulous. Maybe I can have one person. Could you say something? You were there, Paul. You enjoy yourself?
Yeah, sure did. Food was excellent. A lot of surprises.
Surprises,
Everybody
huh?
had a great time.
Thank you very much. It was a great time. Even Maryland showed up. And she didn't sing to Mr. President, she sang to Mr. Resident, as it was. So it was a good party. We had to shoo them out here at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was time to go home, and some people wouldn't leave. But thanks for everybody, had a great party. Thanks.
And Rich, I heard that it was fantastic.
I did get some complaints about the wine. There wasn't enough wine. So maybe in the future, instead of having 108 bottles, we're gonna maybe have more bottles.
And they won't leave it all.
Well, it seems 108 wasn't good enough for the people. Plus their own drinks and everything else. We started with, you have an idea. We started with the shrimp cocktail. We put the salad, we had a 5-course meal. Then we had cream cheesecake drizzle on it with the wine. And then at 11:30, we had chocolate covered strawberries and cheese and champagne. And the band didn't stop playing. They just kept on playing and playing and playing until we said, that's it, they gotta go home. Gunsmoke was on. Thank you very much.
Anything else? Okay, you just talking about the drinking a while ago, I just brought back, something else I forgot. It done that, relate to that, I'm just thinking about it. Also to let y'all know that the property down there has been bought, is that correct? On Midmore, the commercial property, we're supposed to meet with a guy that's, wanting to know what will go there, right? What he thinks we can support. I didn't say we was gonna have a liquor store, but that was,
Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. So, y'all keep that in mind too as well. So we'll be meeting with them to see if y'all got any ideas of stuff that might, the community might support. That, let us know, okay? Okay, any comments out here? We'll start with, go ahead, Gil.
Gil Lanto, Unit 4. I'm here to talk about some gratitude. I gotta thank the Public Works. Kevin helped us out with a major heavy project, which turned out to be a light project when he got there and got it done. He came in with a tractor and did what we needed to do. We had some concrete blocks that were in the way, they were dangerous, people could tear their tires up. I had a couple of people had to move their units. They willingly came in, did their units, and we took care of the blocks. Mr. DeLong helped me out. And this was 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, So you come in, within half an hour, we had the project done, and everybody was taken care of. I greatly appreciate people's cooperation when things like this happen. So I greatly, the RV compound's been working very well. People are cooperating with us because things are getting done. Sometimes they're not getting done in their time limit, but when we take time to talk to these people and give them an idea of what's going on, they appreciate it and they deal with it. And to me, that's very important. Another thing is the beautification. Beautification, you guys did a fantastic job in that entranceway. I'm proud to come in here and see that I belong here. I'm one of the owners here. I go to villages quite often, and I said to myself, I don't need to come up here. I just have to drive into our driveway, coming into our place over there. And you guys did a fantastic job, so thank you.
Thank you. And we still have lights to replace, so that's why we're kind of asking for some donations, please.
Okay, anybody on my left, over here? Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, board. You're doing a good job. I'm proud of you. I want to talk to you a little bit about the ladies of Brookridge. We are having an English tea on January the 29th. It is our big fundraiser.
we would like to invite all of you, men also, to come and join us. The cost is $10 from 2 to 5. We will have an English tea, prizes, entertainment, dress up a little bit if you like, or be a little eccentric. We're okay with that. Bring your own teacup. I will be out here for a while. If anybody's interested in getting tickets, we'd love to see you all there. And my goal is 100 people. So it's a big project for the ladies. So thank you all. And I agree with the gentleman on the beautification. Love to come in here, it's beautiful.
I will relate that to the beautification committee on Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw another hand over here.
No.
Who else had their hand over there? Oh, come on.
Good morning. Patronage Unit 3, also the Community Activities Coordinator. And that's what I want to talk about. Packets for the clubs, they're due into my office by the middle of January if possible. I'd like to have those all back so that all the rooms are reserved, because your room for next year is not for 23. When we move into a year, I move ahead a year. So your rooms won't be there for you, solid for you, if I don't have the packet. Also, the expo is January the 26th. We've got some new people coming this year to the expo, some new events going to be there. So it's free and open to all residents of Brookridge. We will have lots of goodies. I've told everybody to bring goodies to give away. They're not going to stop at your station if you don't have a goodie. So hopefully we'll have some fun that day. Also, tomorrow is our vaccine clinic with Pine Brook Pharmacy from 10 to 12. And they will have booster shots for all 3 of the vaccines. We will also have flu, pneumonia, and shingles vaccines. So if anybody needs any of that, or you know anyone who does, tell them to come up to the clubhouse tomorrow between 10 and 12. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is that all that's on the left? Okay, over here, go ahead.
3 minutes, Paul. Nah. It'll be quick.
Good morning, Paul Harrison, Unit 4. I'd like to wish the board and everybody, the residents of Brookridge, a happy and I hope a healthy and new year. What I'd like to first talk about is the news and views. I'd like to congratulate the editor for putting such an outstanding book out. You can't compare the old book to the new book. It's night and day. So I'd like to congratulate her, and she has a staff, them too, for putting out such a wonderful book. We should be proud of that book. In relation to that, I know we were getting, I think, $1,000 a year from the old printer as a defrayal. Is my question to that is, do we know what kind of income we're getting with the new book and what the cost may be associated with the new book as a comparison?
I can tell you that in December, this past year for 4 months, we made $14,000.
Wow, that is tremendous. That's just for the month of December?
No, that's for, it started in August.
Okay.
August to September.
Okay,
September to December.
that is fantastic.
Yes.
You can't compare that to $1,000 by
No.
no means.
And Patrona has a lot to do with that.
Thank you, Patrona.
And the bookkeeper, our bookkeeper also
Okay.
keeps,
Our bookkeeper.
yes.
I may take more than 3 minutes. I would ask the board if I'd be allowed to talk beyond that, or I could come back after everybody is finished. That is up to them. My second thing relates to Larry over there. He was talking about bringing up about the capital improvement program that when the board came on last year, you put a stop to the one that they had, and I understand why, because it wasn't put to a vote of the members here. My question is, why didn't we think about putting this on the November ballot when we had the vote for the budget? Or why can't we put it on the March where we have the vote for the incoming board members? And just to throw that out to you, between January 1st and December 30th, there were 245 homes in here that were sold. And if we had something in effect like that, that would amount to roughly $24,500 as extra income we could have. And maybe down the road, you may not need a dollar increase, but this would also subsidize some of the things that we need in here. Heritage Pines is going to be voting on a $900.
Okay, if we could just keep it, if we can just keep it to Brookridge.
Okay, just to let you know. Number 3 is I'd like to talk about is the RV compound. The article in this month's book by Gil Lancott was excellent, where he's telling the members, he's asking the members for a yearly donation to cover their expenses. Larry, I wasn't here for a few months, but Larry, the last time we talked about the lights, you said you weren't sure what meter they were on. I called with Lacucci Electric, and there is no meter for street lighting. You pay a fee of $9.32 a month plus tax, which comes out to roughly $10 for every light in there. So that there's 25, 22, whatever lights are in there, every homeowner in there is paying for those lights, including the people who have the RVs in there, whatever the amount, 250. So,
Okay, wait a minute.
Paul, I gotta remind you that the RVs are paying $750 a year for the electric in there, and next year you're gonna pay $825 for the year. For the
okay.
usage of the lights.
But the lighting costs a lot more than that.
Well, the lighting,
That's what we agreed on.
Okay. we're not gonna argue, we shouldn't be
I'm
arguing.
not arguing, I'm just
Well, discuss
explaining
it,
to you what
discuss it.
Lacucci said.
But what you hear from with the Coochie, we also have all the lights, and we're not paying that much for each one. There is a base for that, and that is, and the
Okay.
RV compound has always paid whatever they started, because it started about $450, because we have half of them in.
Yeah, we've grown the last few years, we were over $700 a year.
Yeah,
And last year we paid $750.
Yeah.
Next year we're gonna pay $825. We're gaining 10% every year
Right.
on the lighting.
so they are paying, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to talk about the treasurer's report again.
You know, this has been more than 5 minutes. Jerry,
I'm okay with him going, go ahead.
Excuse me, Joe?
Go ahead, you can talk, you can finish, go ahead.
Okay, continue, okay.
Just a treasury report. When Carol became our general manager, I eventually sat down with her and had 2 meetings, and she asked me to put together a condensed treasurer's report, which I did, and I presented it to her. And it seemed we started to follow that, which would be an opening balance on your treasurer's report, and then you would have your income for your assessments, your interest, and all other income lumped together. That gave you your total income for the month, minus your expenses. Then over to the right side, we had a column, which would have been your income, minus your expenses, minus the last year, $44,700, which comes out of the operating fund each month. That'll give you your closing balance for the month. And the same thing we did with the reserve fund, and we did with the checking account. it seemed to start like that, and then it went all together. Now we don't even show an opening balance. Everything has changed since Carol and I had sat down and I gave her that condensed letter in what she wanted.
We went back to the original treasurer's report that the previous bookkeeper used for 12 years, and no one complained about it till I came on. That's why
The other thing we did also, that was the treasurer's report that we're using now was voted on by a board 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yes.
And the same thing's happening now that happened back then. People want that, I want this tweet, I want this tweet, I want this tweet. No, the way it is now is the way it's gonna be.
How come you
That's
don't
it.
show an opening balance?
We do, read it.
You don't.
We do, read it.
Okay, you show,
Okay,
you show
okay,
a
that's
closing
enough.
I'll show
balance.
it to you.
I'm not
Okay.
arguing with you.
Okay.
Okay. The Christmas tree was beautiful this year because we didn't have anything last year. I just have a question. What happened to the old ornaments that were on it?
All the ornaments were packed up and put in storage.
The only reason I asked that is I didn't know, my wife had contributed a lot of ornaments to the old tree that were handmade by a girl that had lupus, and she just wanted to know that, were they thrown away?
No, they weren't. They're in storage.
Okay, the last thing is, my last thing to ask is, my wife and I were leaving the park 2 weeks ago. We drove out through the gate and coming, I assume from the liquor store, I'm assuming, that's the only thing, a woman driving a golf cart. I thought no golf carts are permitted beyond the gate.
We don't own that road, the county owns that road. We didn't put that sign up. We can't stop anybody who wants to drive their golf cart out on the county road. If they want to take a chance, that's up to them. We have no right, no authority on that road.
Well, what is that sign there for,
We
Carol?
didn't put that sign up. It's a state sign. If they want to break the law, they break the law. We can't stop them.
Okay, then why don't we just take the sign down?
We can't.
It's not our sign, it's a state sign.
Paul, the county put that sign up. If you see somebody doing something wrong, you'd have to call the county. And we can't take that sign down because that's a county sign.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the question because other people have asked that also.
Okay, you got any more comments out there? Any words? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor of adjourning, meeting, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?